Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the National Guard products. This is their part number 897N DKB-V. This is a pretty smart threshold. We don't sell enough of them. And what I mean is with the vinyl insert that's down here, that's the V in the part number. You're going to end up caulking down there anyway. While it's vinyl, I would prefer it to be something substantially more robust like polyurethane as an insert, because vinyl will degrade with extreme temperature and, of course, exposure to ultraviolet. So I would like this to be far more durable, but I've not had any reports that that causes a problem. However, getting that installed down onto a boot of insert is really a nice idea, to be sure. Okay. I might even run a small bead of caulk over that and then place it down as well. But that's the point of the entire inserted vinyl boot that's here. Okay, so this is an 897N. That means that the insert here is going to be a neoprene or a synthetic rubber type insert. Okay, making it a bump up style threshold. The DKB, of course, means dark bronze, as you can see. National Guard dark bronze is absolutely on the right side of center when it comes to its shade of being dark. This is the darkest of all of the anodized dark bronze colors. And I've sent this material to people, and they've said, "Whoa, that's black. I didn't order black." No, it's very dark. There's no doubt. When you look at it, you can tell it's quite dark. There's no confusing it until you hold it up to something that's clearly black, and then you can see that, yeah, that's not quite black. The other side of that conversation is where I've sent material, dark bronze aluminum thresholds to a client. He says, "Whoa, that stuff's way too light." And he sent me a picture of it. I says, "Oh, you've got National Guard. That's much darker. It's not black, but it's pretty close." The V in the part number, as I had said earlier, is the vinyl boot. Okay, I would opt for that every time that I could. Putting a bead of caulk is no problem. It's just, putting a bead of caulk. Let's take a look at the dimensional properties of the item. This is 4 by 1 by half, so it's 4-inch wide. Okay, it's half of an inch where the door will reside, and then it's 1-inch overall height. That would make this quite ideal for applications where you had a typical 3/4 inch undercut, maybe 5/8. That would all work really well. Standard hollow metal has a 3/4 inch undercut. Standard aluminum generally doesn't have that much of an undercut. I would say that they probably have closer to a 1/2 inch undercut, because I very commonly will see 1/4 inch thresholds there. But you have to be mindful of what the flooring condition is. When it comes to aluminum storefront, you can have, the need for a half saddle threshold. Well, that's going to get up to 1/2 inch, which means that undercut would have to be 5/8 or thereabouts, maybe 3/4 inch. So depending on your application, depending on what your undercut is and the allowable room that you have to work with, a 4 by 1 half would work out pretty well for you. I like the bump up style threshold because it makes that positive seal when it's installed. When the door's, I should say, in the closed position, also gives you the ability to add a door sweep here, so a real belt and suspender type approach. It's not handicap compliant at all. It's too high for that sort of application. That may not matter to you, meaning your opening may not be subject to being compliant with the A117 document, which I'll show you that near the end of this video. It might be the back of your warehouse and you've got too much undercut, or you've got a standard undercut, or whatever it might be, and you just need something to elegantly, seal that bottom. And this would be a good opportunity for that. When you're dealing with bump-up thresholds and you have a 3/4 inch undercut, you're going to be right at the 1 inch, maybe 7/8 overall height, or 1 inch. The only way to get a bump-up that's smaller is when you have a smaller undercut. Otherwise, you won't have anything to seal against. So let's switch to the screen view now, and let's take a closer look at some supporting documentation. Here is the item that we are looking at. This is a profile of the item. Extended description information down below. Dark bronze aluminum, bumper seal, TPV insert synthetic rubber, vinyl foot seal. 4" by 1, ½ over where the door would reside. UL 10B, 10C tested. Air infiltration and acoustically tested as well. Let's take a look at the supporting documentation here. So we have first the installation instructions, which are here, and these are pretty generic affairs. Cut to size, notch, or cope if required. They say attach to the floor surface and then caulk. I would flip those two around. I'd probably want to beat a caulk underneath the threshold, but not in this case. Now let's take a look at the product brochure, which is here. So the 897 is shown on the first page. 897. Okay. They have a reference to vinyl foot option seal, which is here, specify on order, and that's the -V part of the part number. That gives you that there. Okay. Fasteners, 10 by 1.5 inch flathead Phillips wood screws are included, and I'll show those to you before the end of this video. Other sizes, if you do have a shorter undercut, like 1/4 inch, the 8135 would be a great option. The 893 versus the 897, same overall concept, except this threshold, the 893, will handle a bottom Pullman latch from a surface vertical rod exit device. So if you had a pair of doors, emergency exit doors, with surface vertical rods on each door, you could use this threshold very elegantly to allow you to not have to then surface mount a strike. That's how that would be. Acoustically rated version of this material, and then variations. Different sizes, different widths, different heights, with and without the insert, different, with and without the vinyl boot. Different insert options are available. Neoprene, silicone, pile, vinyl, all that's available. Now, let's take a look. Before we hop there, the most common one really that we see is a 5" wide, 7/8 tall, typical hollow metal. That doesn't mean what you necessarily need, but that if someone comes in and says, I need a bump up threshold, this is really where you start. This sort of design here. The 884 is simply a thicker version. Basically 3/16 wall thickness there. A much heavier duty version. If you've got a lot of cart traffic going in and out, I would certainly recommend a more robust threshold. If this was emergency egress only, I'd probably stick with the thinner one myself. Now, there's a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page where when you click on that, you'll be able to pull up not only all of the National Guard products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. I would encourage you to review the full product catalog because of how comprehensive of a product offering National Guard provides in terms of thresholds, gasketing, astragals, material in stainless, architectural bronze or brass, obviously aluminum, a comprehensive offering of material for primarily commercial, but also residential as well, with some of their curved-in style weather stripping. I also mentioned the A117.1 document, and it's right there. This is the Accessible and Usable Buildings and Facilities Guide. And this document is very handy because if you were to do a search or a find function on your keyboard for threshold, you're going to immediately find all of the information that governs thresholds, the maximum height, the rise over run relationship, etc. There's a couple of dozen matches when it comes to thresholds. This document governs all aspects of the public space when it comes to the physically handicapped, and it of course includes far more than thresholds. In our industry, of course, commercial restroom equipment is very much governed by this as well, and those guidelines are here. If you were to search for grab bar, for instance, there's 200 matches, so you'll find all of the things necessary when it comes to the federal law that's known as the ADA. Let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, good quality company over at National Guard. In terms of the quantity of holes, you'll generally find that whatever the length of the threshold is in feet, you'll have one more hole. This is a 3-foot length, and it has 4 holes. If it was 30-inch, it would not have 4 holes. It'd probably have 3, but as a general rule of thumb. And there are the fasteners that we talked about earlier, threaded to the head, 10 by 1.5 inches. Any questions on the National Guard 897N DKB-V threshold, which is available and listed in lots of different lengths, by the way, I should mention before we conclude. It's in the site from 2-foot to 8-foot lengths. If you have a need for custom lengths, by all means let us know. Order the next longest piece or pieces and indicate in the comment field the net length that you'd like for us to ship the material out at. Custom fabrication work can be done, notching, drilling, welding, cutting, ripping, anything that can be done on aluminum, National Guard can do. And in fact, I've had them manufacture for me custom thresholds. I needed to do a very wide threshold one time for a 16-inch deep frame, and it was certainly no problem. Any questions on this or any other National Guard product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.